Somebody let Abdul El-Sayed know that he needs to reach out to Angie Nixon to get some tips and pointers, because Angie Nixon certainly knows how to separate herself from a toxic and problematic organization that she belongs to. Yeah, let Abdul El-Sayed know this is how you do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Tabitha. If you've come across this video and are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd be happy to have you. Now, we know that candidate for Senate, Abdul El-Sayed, has had problems with separating himself from the problematic and the toxicity of Hassan Piker, right? He's had to put out yet another statement trying to separate himself from Hassan Piker. Well, Angie Nixon, who is also a candidate for Senate, she did an interview with Democracy Now! Shout out to AT2. He brought this interview to my attention. He did a video and shared a few clips from the interview. I went and watched the entire interview. I will link the interview down in the description box because it is such a good interview. You truly get to know Angie Nixon. You get to know what her policies are, where she stands, and you also get to know that she is a member of the DSA, but she makes it very clear that she is her own person and she does not agree with all that encompasses the DSA. Here's one of the clips.
And so I'm happy to let folks know that the only people that I'm beholden to are hardworking, everyday folks. I am someone who prides myself on being unbought and unbossed. Also, I am a mother of 5. Me and my husband have a blended family. I was a single mom for 12 years, and I understand how tough it is as it relates to childcare, right? I have a 5-year-old right now, and some parents are paying $800 to $2,400 a month simply to try to send their children to a childcare facility. And so I support universal child care. I know that for every dollar we put into child care, we get $3 back in the economy because that allows parents to be able to work. That also allows our children to be diverted from the school to prison pipeline, which, you know, these for-profit prisons, these elected officials, these billionaires, they want our children to have an ill education, a ridiculous, a horrible education, right? Which is why they're defunding public schools, because they want to usher them into the school to prison pipeline.
Right.
Why make sure that our children have a good quality education when they know they'll make more money off of them going to prison and exploiting their labor? And so these are some of the things that I'm really pushing for and want to see accomplished when I become the next United States Senator. I know there's a rumor going around saying that I want to abolish prisons. I don't. I want to abolish for-profit prisons. There's also a rumor going around saying that I want to defund the police. I don't want to defund the police. I want to defund flock cameras so that bad cops don't have the ability to stalk their ex-girlfriends or their ex-boyfriends. I want to make sure that we have a justice system that works for everyone, not just for the billionaires and co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein, who actually are treated more fairly than a single mom who got caught stealing formula to make sure that her child had food. And so these are things that need to really be worked on. We need to make sure that hardworking, everyday people get to shape what their communities look like and what their economies look like. And that's my mantra, that's my motto.
Now, can somebody explain to me why the DSA co-chair is not able to list the policy and explain where they stand on said policy? She went on over there to Fox News and let that lady list off the policy, and she added no context to where they stood on said policy. Angie said, let me get some things straight, right? People are spreading rumors that I stand for defunding the police. No, I don't stand for defunding the police. I stand for defunding flock cameras. And why? right? She's not trying to abolish prisons, right? And she talked about the school to prison pipeline, right? So, yeah, shout out to Angie Nixon for being clear and concise on her policies and explaining where she stands on said policies instead of throwing out buzzwords. She stands for universal child care and went on to explain that if we pay so much for child care, then it frees up money for that parent who then turns around and puts that money back into the economy. Anywho, she didn't end there because, of course, Angie Nixon is a member of the DSA, but she had to set some things straight when the interviewer asked her about her membership to the DSA.
You joined the DSA recently in June. What is your relationship to the organization? If you win in November, you'd be the first DSA member in the Senate.
So you are exactly right. I just recently joined the DSA. I also just recently joined the Working Families Party. And my relationship is one that I just joined them because I saw that they were one of the organizations that was working the hardest to help ensure that people have universal health care. I'm talking to too many people who have loved ones that have died because they were underinsured or they didn't have any insurance. And so I am not an active member of DSA. I just paid a little bit of dues because as I paid dues with the Working Families Party, because I appreciate certain parts of their platform. Do I agree with all of it? No, I don't. And I don't agree with everything in the Democratic Party as well. And so I want folks to know they don't have to worry about me pushing some type of authoritarianism or any type of dictatorship. As a matter of fact, I have made it my life's mission to push back on any type of authoritarian and dictatorship, which is why I am so adamant about fighting back against Donald Trump and heading to DC. I want folks to know I am someone accessible, ethical, someone that they can trust. I'm willing to have conversations about any questions folks may have of me and my ideology. But if they look at my track record, they know that I always put people first, hardworking, everyday people first. And that is what I'm going to do when I become their next United States Senator.
Did y'all get Abdul El Sayed on the line? I don't know. It just, to me, it just seemed that Angie named who she was connected with, right? And she said that she does not agree with everything that they stand for. And then she went on to say what it is that she intends to do for the people in her district. She called out some of the problematic things when she mentioned dictatorship and authoritarianism, and specifically stated that's why she's adamant in fighting against Donald Trump. I think that makes the difference. Whenever Abdul El Sayed puts out a statement in regards to Hassan Piker, he does not name Hassan Piker. He calls him the streamer. And then he goes into what he wants to do for the American people, which isn't bad. But I think if you call him out by name, say what it is that you don't agree with when it comes to him, and then move into what it is that you stand for and what you want to do for the American people, I think that makes the difference. My opinion. Y'all let me know your thoughts down below. I forget the name of the number of the district down in Florida that Angie is running in. But if you are in her district, I like Angie. She's got my endorsement. She had my endorsement for the primary, and she's got my endorsement for the general. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Put it down below.